Hello, I am starting a devlog for the project that I've been working on and hopefully take whoever watches this along the journey from nothing to something. And I wanted to start by showcasing what I have so far, talk through a little bit of the code that went into it, and the plans that I have for the next chunk to make before the next video. So this is Foliofauna. The title screen is very basic right now. It's going to be detailed later, but I wanted to have a little bit of functionality in there set up for what I'm demoing. Got a basic loading screen. One of the things that I want to add is going to be like a little blurb or splash screen on that loading screen that gives you little tidbits about the game. Okay, yeah, this is the create a character section. It starts you off with a random skin. I am controlling that little guy. You got the basic WAD functionality. There's no S at the moment. So there's two hairstyles, bald or spiky, because that was really easy to program bald in there. There are a couple of different colors, each named after different types of foliage. We'll go ahead and go with fur. Fun fact, let's see, let me set it to that fun fact. This is the first palette that the character was created with. So this is how he originally looked when I was programming it into the game. And that is the color of the sprite model as well. But I'll take you back through the eye colors. We've got rose, lime, hibiscus. They're all named after flowers. And then skin colors. Got a couple of different options here. I'm not gonna, I already cycled through all of them. Let's go with that one. There's no hats. There are hats programmed into the game, but you have to progress through the next stage to unlock the only one that I have so far. And then these are all options that you'll be able to unlock as you play. But currently none of the parts are functional. I just set up the base program for that so that they'll be able to be implemented. The procedural generation of the actual gameplay takes a little bit to set up. I haven't done any optimization for it yet. So this is the longest loading screen that I have at the moment, which is why in the next, by the next upload, I plan to have that little loading screen tidbit thing going on. So this is the game. The idea is that these islands will procedurally generate. It'll be sort of like a roguelike where you have multiple runs, but you're going to want to, it's not going to have that permadeath system. It's going to be a lot more forgiving. I'm going for a little bit more of a cozy vibe than a dungeon crawler. And the islands are going to be populated with a lot more stuff than what I have on them at the moment. But right now, I've just got this one functionality. So these little plants are supposed to be carrot flowers. And if you wait long enough, they start popping out of the ground. And if you walk, they get scared and they go right back in if they're close enough to you. But if you hang out, they have a tame timer where they slowly get accustomed to you, and after a certain amount of time, they will become your friends. And they can do things like give you a flower or follow you around. And that's the first hat functionality that I have as well, is a carrot flower. So if these guys get accustomed to me, we'll give them, it takes about a minute or so in real time. And while they're running around, you can try to pet them with, there's 2 interact options. You can carry and you can pet. So while they're walking by you, you can pet them, and you'll know if they're tamed because they'll stop for you to pet them, and they'll do a little wiggle happy animation. Oh, so there we go. That one, this guy right here, he's my little friend right there. You can carry him, walk around with him. He'll animate properly. There's a little carrot stuck down in that hole. So if he's not your friend and you pick him up, he'll always be scared. So like, let's see, we'll grab this one that's down here. He's my friend. What about that guy? Yeah, he's not my friend. So this guy's still scared. If you drop him, he'll just instantly go back into the ground there. They do still go into the ground once they are your friend. So just because they're in the ground doesn't mean that they're not tamed. But all the ones that are outside their little awareness radius are going to be untamed. So all these guys and this other island. The spacing being inconsistent between the islands is intentional. You're going to be able to gain different parts that you can add on to your character. So for example, you can, in that create a character screen where you had arms were set to primate, you'll be able to switch over to bird wings or tentacle arms, and they'll all have different functionalities, but you'll also lose functionalities. So if you switch from primate to bird arms, you'll be able to fly, so you can jump these gaps that you normally wouldn't be able to with just the little primate setup. However, you won't be able to interact with carry, with the arms, or pet, which you can't pet the flowers by themselves. They have to be up and about. So once one of these guys pops out, I'll show you that again. The 2 basic commands in this game outside of the character controlling is R to restart the level and Q and escape to end the game. And you can see I kept my hat from the previous run. Kind of bounces on my head as I walk around. I'll let those guys come back out. The next creature that I'm working on right now is the little turnip. So these are the little carrotlings, and the turnipling is the next creature in line to be made. The reason for that, I have like a whole list of plans to include creatures that are little half plant, half animal things. The turnip is going to have a very similar functionality to the carrot, but so each of the creatures that I add into the game, they're all going to have slightly different personalities, slightly different intelligence, and how they behave and interact with each other and the character. Turnips are going to be pretty similar to carrots. While we're waiting for some of these guys to be our friend, there we go. I also want to take a second to talk about the flowers they've got. As you can see, they've all got different numbers of flowers between 0 and 5. Over on that island, you can see in that far right side, I won't be able to make that jump, I don't think. There's a flowerless carrot. You can have up to 5 total. So that one's got 4, I think. Yeah. Let's see, this guy's got 2, 4, 0, and 2. They generate randomly, and then they'll only be able to gift you a flower if they actually have one. And they spawn in with a personality type of either generous or stingy. And if they spawn in generous and you pet them, right off the bat, they'll give you a flower. Now, just because you have a flower on your head doesn't mean you can't be given more flowers. So if I continue to pet these guys, they might eventually give me all of their flowers. So that guy just gave me his last flower, I think. So he's got 4, now he's got 3. They don't give you one every time. There you go. He's down to 2. And he's still got 1. Eventually you can rob him of all of his flowers. If they come in, if they spawn in with a stingy personality type, it can take a couple of cycles for them to eventually be willing to give you one, because their personality type can shift over time if you keep petting them. Yeah, that is essentially the game loop. There is a random chance to have islands spawn above and below you, but they will mostly be linear along the island that you spawn on. So we might get lucky and fall on another one. Nope, that's all we got. All right, I think that does it for this video. I'll get more into the lore and the plans for what else is going to be coming along probably in the next video. Thanks for watching.